Weddings are beautiful, but planning them can be really stressful. Luckily, Katie Waite Events is here to help you go from stress to just strategic. Isn't that right, Katie?
That is correct.
Let's kind of go into what a wedding strategy expert is, because I think this is a new term. Even I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so I coined the term because I felt like it expressed better what I was offering people with my business. And it is exactly like it sounds. I'm your strategy expert. I will help guide you through the planning process. But I do it in a building block sort of way so people can come for consultations with me and they can have as little or as much help as they'd like. And so I still have that planning role, but I've structured it very differently because I felt like a lot of couples weren't receiving the support that they needed during the planning process. And I was just seeing a lot of stressed out people and they weren't enjoying the process like they should. So I just sort of came up with my own way of describing like, hey, we can do this a little bit differently than it's done by most of the people in my industry.
Is that what surprised you the most about the wedding industry when you first started?
Yeah, I actually, when I first started, I didn't even notice what was going on because I just loved what I was doing so much. And then I started noticing, hey, there's a pattern here and it doesn't always serve everyone that's trying to plan a wedding. And so I thought I really want to make a difference with that because I really like seeing couples feel calm and ready to embrace the day. And sometimes it's harder when you're navigating so many different parts and pieces.
And I feel like everybody has a different wedding. So what does a wedding strategy expert mean for those who might not necessarily have like the most typical wedding?
So what I do is I just look at what's important to them, their logistics, and then I map out a plan for them that leads them to total success in their event. So that way I can map out like vendors or a different type of timeline or give them unique suggestions and things like that so they can really have a day that's like got their signature on it. That's always something that's really important to me.
All right, from an expert, I'm ready to give these people in Southern Colorado some tips. So what's the first thing couples should do after they get engaged?
Do you know what? Aside from taking a deep breath and just enjoying the moment, I then would definitely encourage you to talk to an expert. And that can be, there's a lot of different people in the industry that can offer help. But of course, I am always happy to help first and kind of guide couples with what they need to do. But it's really good to get some insider insight onto what you should be doing, especially depending on your resources, the vibe that you want, and all those kinds of things.
The biggest mistake that couples are making early on in the wedding planning era?
Honestly, they listen to all the wrong people. I think that's part of it. You have a lot of well-intentioned people giving really bad advice. I see that a lot with online forums and some other things. The other things is they jump into contracts too fast, really read those contracts, understand the small print, and know really where your investment is going.
How can people avoid the decision fatigue? Because I feel like I have a lot of friends right now who are going through that of so many things have to happen in such a short amount of time.
So besides sending them to me, because I can solve that problem for them.
There you go.
It really is about getting organized and really mapping things out for yourself in a way that keeps you paced. There's a pace to wedding planning. Some things you need to decide, fairly quickly, but other things you can take your time on as long as you have that organizational piece.
Katie, what do you think is the biggest plus to having an advocate in your corner?
I think what I gear it towards is really focusing on the needs of the couple. And I advocate, like once they talk to me and say what's really important to them, I keep the focus on what they want their day to be, not what everyone else thinks it should be. And I think that's super important as far as having a successful day that you remember and that you hold close to your heart.
What is your favorite part about seeing everything come together?
You know what? I love the whole process.
Really?
It's like creating like an entire day of magic. But my very favorite part is the bride right before she walks down the aisle, because that's a really private moment. Everyone else is focused on other things, and I get to see her take that deep breath, exhale, and get ready. I mean, it's just like a whole transformation takes place, and it makes me cry every time. I get teary now.
Oh my gosh.
That's my favorite part.
I really feel like that, and especially that intimate moment that you're talking about, but also when you're surrounded by love all the time at your job, it can't be a bad day.
It is not a bad day, and it's exciting and it's interesting and everything's always different, and I love it because it's like solving it's fun problem solving all day long, and then the end result is happy couples and people who
and a dream wedding.
A dream wedding and good memories, and it's a life event and it's important.
All right, Katie, if people want to get in contact with you because they say, hey, we need a wedding strategy expert, how can they do that?
They can find me on my website, which is wedcoach.com. And they also can find me on Instagram at Katie Waite Events.
All right, well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us, giving us a little to-do, to not to-do, especially for those newly engaged couples. We're heading into that fall season for wedding season. So this might be the time, if you're looking to plan your wedding with confidence, make sure you book that expert, and that is Katie. See that website at the bottom of your screen to get your initial consultation started. Thank you so much.
Thank you.